I Am Abraham Lincoln by Brad Meltzer. I am Abraham Lincoln. There's his home. When I was little, even young boys were expected to work on the farm and hunt. His friend says, "Are you coming?" And Abraham Lincoln preferred to read. He says, "I'll catch you later." I also loved animals. When I was 10 years old, I saw a group of boys playing with some turtles. They found turtles. I love turtles. But as I got closer, I realized they weren't playing. They were taking hot coals and putting them on top of the turtles to see what would happen. To them, it was harmless fun. "Look at how fast that turtle is running. That's the fastest turtle ever." In that moment, I could have just walked away. When you're 10 years old, it's hard to do the right thing, but someone has to. "Let this turtle go." "What did you say?" "You heard me. Let it go." Those boys let the turtle go. Soon after, I wrote my first essays about how hurting animals is wrong. That may not seem like a big deal, but back then, most kids, even adults, couldn't read. In fact, the state of Indiana was so new that schools haven't even been built yet. I went to school for barely a year total, but that didn't stop me. Using chalk, I practiced writing the alphabet on trees. I even wrote in the dirt of the cornfield. And his dad is in the corn, and he says, "How's the corn coming?" And he says, "Great, Dad." When it came to learning, my best teachers were simply books. I love books so much I once walked 6 miles for books. I'm serious, 6 miles to get one. I read while my horse was resting and at the line at the local store. And my favorite position was with my feet up on a tree. Before long, I read every book in the neighborhood, from the Bible to Aesop's Fables to Robinson Crusoe. But one of my favorite books was a book about George Washington. I'd even copy my favorite parts of the book on pieces of wood. Did you know that George Washington was a friend of men? "You're a strange boy, Abraham Lincoln." "Yeah, but I'm going to be on the penny someday." What's a penny? When I was 22 years old, we moved to Illinois, where I met a group known as the Clary's Grove Boys. Everyone in town knew they were bullies, but I didn't like bullies. But I was the new guy. When they challenged me, I didn't have much choice. "Think you're better than us?" "I never said that." "Don't be chicken, show us what you got." Today, some may call it a fight, but it was really a wrestling match. Me against their leader, Jack Armstrong. Back then, the rule was, once you grabbed your opponent, you couldn't break your hold. Wham! But Jack did, so he could grab my leg and send me flying. I wasn't mad I lost. Everyone loses sometimes. What got me upset was he cheated. "You didn't play fair." "Maybe you want to fight all of us." Within seconds, they all surrounded me, and they were waiting for me to back down or lose my cool. Instead, calmly and confidently, I told them, "If I have to, I will fight every one of you, fair and square." They knew I meant it. "You're a strange kid, Abraham Lincoln. You know I'm going to be on the penny someday." What's a penny? Sometimes the hardest fights don't reveal a winner, but they do reveal character, especially when you're fighting for something you believe in. Still, not every struggle brought a victory. Years later, I saw a group of slaves chained together on a boat on the Ohio River. Back then, not all people were free. Some were slaves. Just because of the color of their skin, they were forced to work without pay, and they were treated terribly. I never forgot the sight of that boat. I didn't do anything that day, but for years, the memory of those people haunted me. I was still thinking about them when I became president. But I lost 4 elections before I got the big job. 4. America was facing one of its greatest fights in history, the Civil War. One side wanted the slaves to go free, and the other side, we want to keep slavery going, and we'll fight anyone who says otherwise. If I had turned my head and looked away, I would have avoided the fight. But if I learned anything in life, it was this: when someone needs help, I wasn't so good at looking away. These people will be free, he says. The Civil War lasted longer than anyone expected, and it took a terrible toll. People on our side were ready to give up. To re-energize them, we had a big event in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The main speaker gave a speech that lasted 2 hours. I gave a speech that lasted 2 minutes and used only 271 words. The most important 5 words I used: all men are created equal. Soon after, I helped pass a law that ended slavery in America and freed all those people and that ended the Civil War. As a result, we didn't just bring together the United States of America, we proved that the government by the people and for the people would be dedicated to freedom and justice. In life, strength can take many forms, but there's nothing quite as strong as standing up for someone who needs it. No matter where you're from or how little you have, one thing that can never be taken away from you is your voice. When you find something you believe in, use your voice. And when you see injustice, speak louder than you've ever spoken before. And when you do, it'll never be forgotten. That is a statue in Washington of President Lincoln. You could see it someday if you go to Washington. Look, he's on the penny. I am Abraham Lincoln. I will never stop fighting for what's right. And I hope you remember that when you speak your mind and speak for others, there's no more powerful way to be heard. There was a picture of Lincoln when he was president. There's a picture from the Civil War, and that's the log cabin he lived in when he was little. And there he is giving that famous speech. Hope you like the book.